Well, it is a good Monday morning to you at home and all of you, whether you're listening to us, is Danny Boy.
Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy. What is going on, folks?
We are live on the SIN YouTube page. We appreciate you for joining us there. If you're listening in the car or via your cell phone with your earbuds and all that stuff. Um, Just a reminder, you can always catch us there as well, wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for always joining us. It is a Monday morning at the time of this live show and recording, and that means we got to recap another week of football, week two. Still in the overreaction mode, Bill, but nonetheless, some really, really exciting stuff. Some painful stuff as well.
Oh yeah, we got some yesterday, dude. That was a aside from the one game in the 1 o'clock slate, and I think you know what we'll talk about. We'll get to it in a second. The 1 o'clock slate was kind of two games, sorry, because the Miami New England game was also pretty
Well,
tight.
we had a few games in that 1 o'clock slate. It picked up late, but the Bengals and Jaguars were also that was also a pretty nice game to end that part of the day. So it was but yeah, no, Bill is dead on. That 1 o'clock was not very good.
Now
We
the one
could
o'clock slate sucked.
we could admit to that, and it's okay. Look, yeah, we didn't get it. Um, but definitely Miami, New England, Bengals, Jags, and then of course Giants, Dallas.
Which
That was a back and forth affair. I'll tell you that much.
that was a humdinger.
Yeah, that was. Uh, it was quite exciting. Quite exciting. I'm sure
Yeah.
Giant fans, for a split second, um, showed some exuberance before melting down in pain again. You know,
And Reg could testify. I was one of those.
exactly.
Because we were
Uh,
watching, I was watching the game yesterday with Reg and Mark Goldop, Sky Halpern, his two kids, Troy and Charlotte, and their pooch,
yeah.
Summer, who's now making football picks. You could check that out here on the YouTube channel.
And I feel horrible because she picked the Jets to beat the Bills, so I kind of feel bad that this is her first experience with football. She picks the Jets, and they are an absolute abomination. So I do kind of feel bad about that.
Yeah,
But in any case, week two.
but anyway, the Giants Dallas game, dude, that game almost gave me a heart attack.
You know what's interesting about the Giants Dallas was
Let's
that
hear it.
the game was not even that good until the fourth quarter, where
No,
there
it
were
really
like what
wasn't because if
five
you
lead changes. There were like five lead changes in the fourth quarter, right?
right,
So yeah, so like before that, it was a back and forth defensive affair, but the only reason why it was a defensive affair is because of these stupid ass penalties that both teams were taking.
oh, absolutely.
I mean, it was one of the worst penalized games I've ever seen in my life, and
Because
I'm not over exaggerating with that too.
yeah, and Reg is traumatizing me right now by wearing a yellow shirt because I told Dan and I told Mark yesterday, after today's game, I don't ever want to see yellow ever again. So Reg is now trying to traumatize me.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
Reg, I'm triggered.
These motherfuckers, excuse my language for the children out there. The Giants, 14 accepted penalties, 160 yards. Cowboys, 12 accepted penalties, 106 yards.
Okay, so that is a total of 26 penalties and two for 266 yards. Yes, I did that math all in my head.
Horrible. The Giants' 160-yard penalties were the most by the team since 1947. Um, and it contributed. I mean, there are a lot of times the Giants really could have um won this game if they were a little more disciplined. And that's just being real. Because what I saw from Dallas wasn't much of, again, until the fourth quarter, wasn't much of a competition. So if you stay disciplined, you had Russell Wilson having the game of his life, turning back the clock, Russell Wilson. It's good to see for once, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you had just stayed mature and, be like all the other good teams out there that don't get penalized as much, they could have won this game. And that's the sad part about this. That's what the real sad part about it.
Oh, it is. Dude, it absolutely is. So, yeah, the Giants could have won this game. And you know what? You said it yesterday when the three of us were watching the game yesterday. And I think you were rooting for Dallas because I think you like to see me in pain sometimes.
I actually didn't care who won. I honestly like, like like I know when the Giants, when they scored a touchdown, I got really excited. Look, I'm just a fan. So anytime a big play happens, I'm gonna go crazy. Um, when Dallas made mistakes, I was pissed off. When the Giants made mistakes, I was pissed off. Like, I didn't care who won, and why would it matter? The Jets weren't playing there anyway. But
I'm gonna, but I'm gonna say this, and you hit it right on the head. And afterwards, I was talking to my dad, and Papa Murph agrees with you, Reg.
mm,
He said, and I quote, when you said, and I quote, the thing that killed them is when they went for it on fourth down instead of
yeah.
kicking the field goal.
Yeah, so what was it? Sometime in the fourth quarter, it was early
Is
fourth
either the
quarter.
third or fourth, I can't
Yeah,
remember. But
where the Giants had picked off Dak Prescott, right? And
yeah,
they drove it down the field, like into the red zone. I forget where they were. Um, but they drove it down into the red zone. And when you get that possession, Bill, when you steal a possession from the Cowboys and they're vulnerable, like
you get point.
score some points.
You get some points on
3
that. I don't care if
points.
it's a touchdown or a field goal. You walk away from that possession with points.
Three
And then
points.
Dable's like, okay, and this is something I usually liked about Brian
Yeah.
Dable in the beginning. Like,
Mhm.
that first game he had against Tennessee, you know
Yeah.
the story. When he was gonna, when everyone was thinking, oh, he's gonna kick the field goal, he's like, no, I'm going for it. And I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
when that first happened, I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And then when
And,
he
and,
went for it,
and
I'm like,
it worked. It
but
worked.
now here, dude, here, it's, dude, you're in this position. You just picked off Dallas. Just get the points. Just
Yeah.
walk away with the points.
Yeah. Anytime you have a chance to get points, and look, obviously, in terms of the analytics, in terms of all the other things, yes, it would have been a conservative move, but it would have given you three. And that was the difference. The Giants don't score, and then we have this back and forth affair across the fourth quarter. If they had gotten three there, Giants win. That's what Dable has to live with. Um,
Because you
so
gotta go from, okay, and I'm not like over analytics from, okay, that has a 62% of that, that has a 36% chance of that. I mean, like, okay, um, I think it was in the fourth quarter saying, okay, well, we don't know how long Dallas's next possession is going to be,
right.
so we might as well get some insurance points here. We might as well get some points here, walk away with that, and So so we can hopefully block Dallas next next possession. But yeah, but no, that game was
Hmm.
whew, whew. And I just want to say, shout out to Russell Wilson.
Hmm. Yeah, we
This
killed
is
him.
the Russell Wilson I want to see.
We
This was old
we
school Russell
look,
Wilson.
we murdered him last week for the game he had, and he had a horrible game. And by the way, I was still in support of starting Russell Wilson, but with the idea of let's have Jameis ready, let's have Jackson Dart. By the way, Jackson Dart making his debut.
Yes,
He
he
made a
did.
couple. He made a couple appearances. Um, only
They
on
were
rushing.
flipping back
He
and
was
forth
only
for a bit.
he was only there on rushing attempts, but like he made an appearance. So NFL debut for Jackson Dart. But but yeah, but we killed Russell Wilson last week, and I'm glad that he shut me up because he really, really did look like the old Russ, and it was very refreshing, very refreshing. Um,
Old school. We saw, dude, yesterday we saw old school Russell Wilson.
exactly.
We
Um,
saw like early Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl win. We saw like 2014, 2015 Russell Wilson yesterday.
yeah. Yeah, man. It's a shame because Giants took the lead. By the way, two big time dimes from Russ down the stretch. One to Wan'Dale Robinson that gave the Giants the lead, and then one to Malik Neighbors that also gave the Giants the lead. But of course,
And what was I like at that moment?
Bill was too excited.
And yeah, but that was fun to watch with Mark and the kids yesterday. That was
Yeah,
fun.
it was a lot of fun. By the way, shout out to Dallas. Um,
Brendan Aubrey,
that
he's got a leg.
that was an amazing. Like he hit one from 64. That was good from 90. Like it was a beautiful kick. And then of course they kicked it from overtime to win it. Overtime period was not as good as the fourth quarter. Um, Dak
There were a
Prescott
lot of mistakes on both sides.
yeah, Dak Prescott certainly wasn't great. He was good enough to get the Cowboys down the field at the end. And then, of course, Russell Wilson making an errant throw that was literally like a high pop up, literally straight into Dallas's hands for an interception. So just a back and forth affair. It was a very good classic. Um, Giants lose. Do you feel better about the Giants? I know it's against Dallas. Do you feel better against about the Giants, with what they have?
Well, slightly, because, okay, it was a high scoring game, but the defense wasn't bad. Again, they weren't too bad.
Yeah.
But Russell Wilson yesterday, like I said, we saw like 2013, 2014, 2015 Russell Wilson yesterday.
Mm.
And I was very impressed by that. And listen, this is when I insert my apology right now that I've called Russell Wilson a washed up has-been. That I've called Russell Wilson a washed up has-been. Um, and I apologize to him for that. But if Russell Wilson keeps playing like he did yesterday, then I think he'll be in good shape. I think the Giants will be in good shape. If Russell Wilson keeps playing like he did yesterday, then the Giants will be in good shape.
Yeah, I, it was very nice to see um Russell Wilson um be comfortable in the pocket. Great protection by the offensive line, which was tremendous. Um, again, if the Giants, you take away those four or even some of the 14 penalties that they got, I think the Giants have a better chance of winning. They had 506 yards of offense, Bill. Like when your quarterback goes for 400 yards and throws three touchdowns. Like that to me should spell win, and it doesn't.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's the tough part. But again, look, 0-2 start to season, not what you want, but at least look, you can trust Russ for right now and continue to develop Dart and see if you can win some games out of it. And you know, I don't know, man. Like that's the frustrating part. You want to win these games, because now, of course, you're up against it with the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are not that haven't been that great either, but um, still, like you want to get those games before you face those really tough opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Chiefs, we'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, but no, from what I've seen, even though they lost, I think they looked good yesterday. My confidence in them has been slightly boosted.
Yeah,
My confidence in the Giants has been slightly boosted. So, this was a complete, again, even though they lost, dude, that was a complete 180 from last week.
yes, yeah.
That was
Uh,
a complete freaking 180 from last week. I'm keeping my language at bay too. But hey, you know what, Reg? It's better the kids hear it from us, trusted podcasters, than some random people on the street. It's better they hear it from us, trusted internet officials,
yeah.
um, than some random
Uh,
people in the neighborhood. But
yeah.
no, like I was saying, complete 180 from last week. Complete 180.
Again,
Offense was much, much better yesterday.
yeah,
Like we said, Russell, again, apologies, looked good yesterday.
yeah. And then again, like I said, the big thing they got to clean up is the penalties. You know, and look, he was filling in, but James Hudson, um, four penalties on one drive. Come on now, can't happen. I like what Kayvon said after the game. We can't just do it in terms of the discipline. Um, we have to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. We have to stop making mistakes. We have to grow up all the way around. Obviously, um, when you have a game like that where everything is clicking, except the fact that, your team continues to get flags all over the place. Like it was pretty messy. So, hopefully a learning experience for this team.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all we could hope for.
So yeah. Okay, so Reg, should we talk about the other team that plays in East Rutherford, New Jersey?
Yeah. That was putrid. That was pretty bad. Um, but I had time to think about this, Bill, and maybe I'm not thinking about this the right way. Um, but and I want Jet fans to understand that I share your pain because yesterday was terrible. Um, they didn't stand a chance after that Michael Clemens personal foul penalty on Josh Allen, where they were about to get off the field, but ultimately that penalty was called and the changed the whole game. Bills went down for a touchdown, and that was it. Once that happened, I knew the game was over and stuff. But um, that was bad. The Justin Fields fumble, literally right afterwards, that was bad too. Um, Bills had a good game plan. They were able to stop the run early. Like Brees Hall was non-existent. Fields in his RPOs and all that stuff non-existent after that first drive. They really made they told Justin Fields, you want to beat us, you're beating us with your arm, not your legs. And kudos. Kudos. And then on top of that, The Jets with they're another team that has that issues with discipline, that they're getting penalized, and it's not the look. Obviously, what we saw in the Giant game was by far worse, but the problem with what the Jets go through is that they get penalized and it immediately impacts the game. It changes the entirety of the whole game. So that's the frustrating part of it. We have to get rid of all the bad penalties that really, really makes an impact. Um, so I'm sad, but I want Jet fans to understand this, and I hope Bill can sort of share this as well. When you're trying to build a winning franchise, there's going to be a lot of growing pains, especially if you have a brand new coaching staff that's trying to build their program. Like a lot of these things that the fans are going to want, like right now, right at this moment, it's not going to come to you. Like you have to go through the growing pains. And look, I get it. Look, the Jets have been building and building for so long, and yet they can never get anything right. But sometimes, especially when you have a new coaching staff, this is Aaron Glenn's second week ever coaching in real time football, not that preseason bullshit, like real
Yeah.
time. You know, Sometimes you just gotta be patient with the process. Just because the Jets lost to um the Bills in terrible fashion yesterday, 30 to 10, that doesn't mean that it's not working. It just means that they're still trying to figure shit out. And when you're a upstart team, you're gonna go through these things.
No, I absolutely agree. Because you know what, with Jet fans, you gotta be a little patient here. You're with a new head coach, new regime, new quarterback. This isn't the Aaron Rodgers, this isn't the Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh bowing down to Aaron Rodgers era anymore. So just take this with a grain of salt. Am I right here? Take it with a grain of salt. Don't get too nervous.
Mhm.
Don't get too nervous. Um, but yeah, but the Jets getting shellacked yesterday. And I'm surprised you were receiving no text from Nate Moser.
Well, Nate's not the type of guy to brag. He's he gets nervous every Bills game. It's incredible. Um, Even with a massive lead, he's like, no, 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 it's not over yet. Like there was one time I think the Bills were up by like 30. Teams doing nothing. Their opponents doing nothing. And I turned to him and said, "You're fine, Nate. Like game's over. The Bills are trashing them. No, 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 it's not over yet. Still fourth quarter." So he's not the type to brag, but he is the type to be like, "Good game." Afterwards, like, "Good game." Where? I love you, buddy, but where was the good game? Um, but no,
Hey, he's
he
trying to
said the
be
same
nice.
thing. By the way, he said the same thing about the Jets. Let it take its run its course. Like it's gonna happen eventually.
No, I absolutely agree with you. You gotta let this thing run its course here.
Yeah. And I challenge Jet fans to do that because I get it. Look, I totally get it. You want to win and you want to win now. And this stuff is frustrating, but it doesn't mean that the Jets aren't going in the right direction. It could just mean that, look, week one, you ran into a beatable Pittsburgh Steelers team, and week two, you ran into a team that could very well go to the Super Bowl. So you have to be patient when it comes to these matchups. look, you're gonna get matchups that go in your favor. You're gonna get matchups that don't go in your favor. The biggest thing that I want to see from the Jets, though, Bill, competitiveness. I want them to be in every single game. And the fact that they weren't yesterday, that's the part that pissed me off the most yesterday was the fact that it was non-competitive. Like, I don't mind losing to the Buffalo Bills, but show me something. And they didn't. So tough to see. The defense was okay. I think if we don't make those mistakes early on, Bill, I think the defense has a much better day than what it looked like. So the defense is there for sure. Um, Offensively, it was a mixed bag. I think the Buffalo Bills, I think they really, really, really had a good game plan, and Jets made a lot. Again, like I said, the Jets they couldn't figure it out. So 30-10 and rough to watch. Very, very
I'll
rough
say
to watch.
this, and I'm going to say this. Um, I'm going to say this. I
Mhm.
have, I'm going to say this, and I actually got a funny story to tell you. I was hanging out with some friends the other day, and for those who don't know, my girlfriend, Samantha Black, shout out to you, baby. She's a Jet fan. And
I'm so sorry.
my friend and I were joking around saying, would you wear a Jet jersey for her? And I was like, I don't know.
The
I'm
real
sure Reg would get a kick out of that.
the real question is, would you wear any jet gear for me?
I love you, buddy, but
Not even like a cap, you
would
know?
I do it for
I've
you?
worn
Would I
I've
do it for
worn
her?
I've worn a Met cap before, so it's like,
Would I wear the, are you asking if I would wear the Jet stuff for you? Or would I wear it for her?
wear it for me. It satisfies me to see my friends wear stuff from my teams. Um, I think one of these days you should support your girlfriend and her teams. Like, I think that would be nice.
If you, okay, if hypothetically, Sam and I are going to a Jets game, hypothetically,
Yeah.
and there is a picture of me in a Jets cap, and I send it to you, that will be Reg's birthday, Christmas, all combined.
It would be pretty nice to see.
Like he would probably print that picture out, put it on his, buy a very nice and expensive frame, and put that picture in the frame.
That would be pretty solid.
He would go bankrupt over a frame to put that photo in. Wouldn't you, Reg?
Yeah.
Reg, why did you spend all your money on that frame? For good reason. I
Oh,
don't get to see this often. Bill wearing a Jets hat.
God. Uh,
But yeah, Jets look kind of garbage yesterday.
it wasn't it was bad. By the way, Justin Fields being evaluated for a concussion. So we don't know if he'll make his next start. We saw Tyrod yesterday. He looked pretty good out there. Jets scored a touchdown on his drive. It was in garbage time, but whatever, it still counts. Um, yeah, no, it was not a good day. Offensively, it was not a good day. And the only reason why the defense um, would play poorly was because the early mistakes and the fact the offense couldn't get going. I'm not saying that the defense was left out there too long, but you can tell that, I think the defense, they were um, mentally, they couldn't get it going. They couldn't make the big plays. This is the second week in a row the Jets gave up 30 points on defense. That is not okay. Not okay at all. Shout out to James Cook. He had 21 carries, 132 yards, two touchdowns, especially the one. I think it was in the second quarter where he danced around all these Jet defenders. He had like there had like 4 or 5 defenders. He danced around all of them and literally he could slow walk to the end zone. That's how bad it was. Just it was just that type of day. So shout out to him, Josh Allen. He was pretty solid. He had a broke. He actually, I think he broke his nose, from a punch from Michael. It was unintentional, but Michael Clemens, uh, punched his nose when Josh Allen was diving forward. So uh, gamer, love Josh Allen. Love watching him play. Hate that he has to kick my ass every time. Um,
Oh, you're hating it right now, aren't you?
it's rough. It's rough, but patience. I'm trying to be more patient because the more I complain, the more I expect. I'm not gonna get what I want. So I want to make sure that you know, what the hell. So my point is, just be patient. So I'm getting a text from family members. Uh, hasn't been a crazy morning, but whatever. In any case,
All right. Some other games scores on the Bengals beating the Jaguars 31-27 yesterday. And Joe Burrow getting turf toe. He's going to need surgery. He's out for 3 months.
yeah, that as a tough loss for Cincinnati. Obviously, Jake Browning had a very solid day. Um, in terms of look, he's a backup quarterback. He's not going to be like lights out. So imagine having to go with him for until December. Like I don't know if I feel comfortable about that. So tough time for
Uh,
Cincy.
and guess what, folks? The Bill fantasy football curse continues.
You can never get it right.
Well, no, last year, over the past 2 years, I was thinking it was over. The curse was over. For
Yeah,
those of you who don't know, the curse is either that my first pick or my quarterback gets injured.
yeah,
Well, and for the last 2 years, I'm thinking, hey, the curse is over. It's back.
right.
Because God has a sick, twisted sense of humor.
Um,
God has a sick, twisted sense of humor, buddy.
yeah,
And you know what? That has proven my point.
yeah. Um, Jacksonville had the lead, obviously, but 14 points in the third quarter by Cincinnati. That was the massive difference maker. They only needed 7 in the fourth, and that was the game right there. So, good job for Cincinnati for their defense holding up. Um, and then a good job by Jake Browning. Again, backup quarterback. He's going to throw his fair share of interceptions. He had 3 of them, by the way. But 241 yards and 2 touchdowns. That it got the Bengals to win, and that's all that matters. So, uh, big ups to the Bengals getting that job done. Um, we already talked about Packers Commanders. Um,
Talked about that. Okay, Giants, Cowboys. We already talked about that. Cowboys won 40-37 in overtime.
Well, the
The
Lions, though, like, look at this. 52 to 21, Bill.
Oh, looks like Ben Johnson isn't getting out to a good start out in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty embarrassing. I guess the best thing you can say is that all their scores were touchdowns.
And
Ugh.
that is the best thing you could say. So, like Ben
God.
Johnson, and I had him pretty high in my preseason tier rank.
Yeah.
I had
Um,
him pretty high. Okay, but
now
hey,
I'll
it's
take
only
this.
week 2. Let's
Yeah.
not panic yet.
Um,
Rams beating the Titans 33-19.
yeah, good job by Stafford with his two touchdowns on the day. Good to see Devontae Adams get back into the end zone. Um, I was impressed by the Titans though until the second half, where they scored 6 points. And obviously the Rams, they're gonna do more damage if you let them continue to hang around. So that's exactly what happened. But I was impressed by the Titans until they got the second half.
All right, what else do we got on this sacred scores? We got
One of the 1 o'clock slates that was actually good, Patriots Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa, if you get what I'm saying. Um, Tua was fine. He had
he
two
had he
touchdowns.
had a decent start
Yeah, he,
yesterday.
he was fine. He had two touchdowns, 315 yards of passing offense. Um, but then of course he turned the ball over. Um, literally at the end of this game, he threw an interception. And that's what sealed the deal for the Patriots and all that stuff. So, um, all, better game from the Dolphins, but still a lot of mistakes being made. And um, Patriots 33 was good enough for them. So, big time game, first win for Mike
Mike Vrabel
Vrabel
getting his first win as Patriots
as
head
as
coach.
Patriots head coach. Yep.
All right, we got the 49ers beating the Saints 26-21.
Hey, good job by Mac Jones. I killed him. I was like, there's no way he would do well. Well, shut me up. He had 3 touchdowns on the day. He was tremendous. Um,
Bills beating the Jets. We talked about that 30-10.
yeah,
Seahawks beating the Steelers 31-17.
the Pittsburgh Steelers can shut up. Let's go, baby. Um, and I feel kind of vindicated because I knew the Jets should have won that game. I knew they should have won that game. The Steelers are beatable. Aaron Rodgers is not that good. The only reason why he had those 4 touchdowns, again, two of them were courtesy of uh, Jets making stupid ass penalties and turning the ball over, stupid ass mistakes. You know, like this was the vindication for me watching the Seahawks beat the Steelers. So it obviously doesn't translate to a Jet win, but still like seeing that, Rodgers is not that good. He's not.
He's a wash-up has-been here.
Yeah. Good job by Sam
He,
Darnold on day. But,
listen, he is listen, he is just like I said, he's washed up. He is washed up.
yeah, I mean, he
Okay.
was he was sacked 4 times.
Rodgers was sacked 4 times.
Crazy.
Insane.
Well, multiple interceptions on the day. Um, and once again looking flat, and of course the Seahawks took advantage.
All
Um,
right. The Ravens beating the Browns 41-17.
this was not a competition. The Ravens were
Lamar just 19
all
for
over the place.
20, 225 yards, 4 touchdowns.
21 points in the fourth quarter to seal it for the Baltimore Ravens. The Indianapolis Colts getting another victory, a very close victory, 29-28 final score. Another,
Danny Dimes
another big
again.
day out of Daniel Jones.
Hang on,
Uh,
dude. Where was this in East Rutherford?
I know, baby. I know, baby. I get it. Big ups to Jonathan Taylor. He had 25 carries, 165 yards, rushing. Jones with another day with another touchdown, 316 yards of passing offense. Uh, yeah, I think that the offense seems to be moving there. And this was
Yeah,
this is
it does.
this is not an easy Denver team. So, this is 2 weeks in a row where I've been very impressed. Now, again, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be sustained an entire season, but we'll find out. Cardinals beating the Panthers 27-22 final score. This is a big 4 o'clock matchup. This is the only 4 o'clock matchup that actually mattered. uh,
Yeah, pretty much was.
2017 final score in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles over the Kansas
Dude,
City Chiefs, the Super Bowl rematch.
I have to say it. Are you ready?
Go for it.
I think we are officially seeing the end of the Chiefs dynasty.
I'm not gonna say that. That is
No, I'm
irresponsible.
gonna say that. Dude, you
That
gotta look at it
is
this way.
irresponsible to say.
Okay, maybe it is.
Irresponsible.
Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna rephrase that. We're seeing the beginning of the end of the Chiefs dynasty.
That
And
is irresponsible to say.
well, because dude, you lose the Super Bowl, you go 0 and you start the season off 0 and 2.
They've lost three in a row.
They've lost three in a row.
Yeah.
This time last year, Chiefs fans were beating their chests thinking we're going for a three-peat. You get denied the three-peat. You start off 0 and 2 for the first time since 2014.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll give you this. Okay, maybe that is a little irresponsible to say that, Reg. I will give you that. I
The
salute
only
you.
reason why is because they don't have their receiving weapons out there. So, it's tough to be like, oh, well, the Chiefs are screwed when you don't even have your best wide receivers out there. And really, the only big option that they have that is somewhat reliable is Travis Kelce, and he had a major drop in the end zone. Mahomes threw a dime to him, major drop in the end zone that falls into the lap of the Eagles defender. So,
Yes.
you
And did you
know,
see there was NFL meme and had a picture of Taylor Swift that said, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 0 and 2.
oh, oh, oh,
Feeling
baby,
0 and 2.
0-2.
We better be careful or Taylor Swift's attorneys are going to sue us.
Oh, it's a parody.
Covered under fair use. So,
Taylor Swift,
yeah, just I would say keep an eye on the Chiefs here, and I mean that in the worst way possible.
golly. Um,
Okay,
not,
and the
not 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 a good day. Not a good day for Patrick Mahomes. He did not look good. Um, Go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
and the Sunday night game, and the Sunday night game
Excuse me.
is the Falcons beat the Vikings 22 to 6.
Goose eggs for the Vikings in the first, third, and fourth quarters. We scored no points.
That is correct.
6 points in the second, and the Falcons, they had a bunch of field goals in this game. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't like they were scoring touchdowns.
No, that is absolutely correct.
Two interceptions for JJ McCarthy. Um, it's obviously growing pains for him. Shout out to the Falcons defense. Falcons defense getting a lot of stops and really messing up the tempo for the Vikings offense. So kudos. Um, and obviously the score looks worse than what it actually was. It was a defensive matchup. Like we were waiting for JJ McCarthy to turn it up a little bit. Like we were hoping, whether it happened in the third quarter. Maybe he's a second half quarterback. We were trying to see something and nothing. Nothing. So um
So yeah. And Tonight, to wrap up week two, we got a doubleheader. We got the Bucks and the Texans and the Chargers and the Raiders.
Yeah, the doubleheader. Um, very Monday night doubleheaders are rare nowadays. Like that doesn't happen.
I don't like Monday night doubleheaders. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch it anyway, but I don't know. Like I'm just I don't know.
Well, anyway, before we leave the NFL, something I do want to ask you about, and I actually found this interesting. As we all know, last week we saw the senseless, terrifying murder of Charlie Kirk,
Right.
and yesterday there were teams that had moments of silence before the game. And those teams were the Dallas Cowboys, the Miami Dolphins, the New Orleans Saints, the New York Jets, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Tennessee Titans, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Kansas City Chiefs. And there were five that did not hold them. Okay, for context, the NFL, okay, because on Thursday night, the day after Kirk was murdered, they had a moment of silence for the Commanders Packers game.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I think all the other moment of silence were also for because last this past Thursday was also the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks.
9/11 attacks. Yeah.
So I think they were trying to mainly just, kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
And and the NFL gave the option to all the teams because I'm sure this is how they do it. When there's a like national tragedy, I'm sure the NFL, Roger Goodell would put out a memo to all 32 teams that say, on what's it called? On Sunday, we will have all NFL teams will have a moment of silence before their game. But this was different.
Yeah.
This was different. The NFL put out a statement that said if teams want to have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk on Sunday or the Monday night games, they are free to do so.
Yeah.
If they are if they are not if they do not want to have one, they are free to not do it. So the teams that didn't have a moment of silence for Kirk, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Lions, the Colts, and the Vikings. Reg, what do you think? Do you think the NFL should have mandated all 32 teams Sunday? We will have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk before the game. Or do you think they made the right call and said, if you want to have one, go right ahead. If you don't want to have one, no big deal.
I think, and when I say this, I don't mean to disrespect. Let the teams do whatever the hell they want. Like who, like, you know, obviously, I get it. Like, you want to show some respect, pay your respect and stuff, but at the same time, we can't force teams to do a moment of silence. Like,
If it's like,
yeah,
like how,
it
again, last
wasn't. It
week,
wasn't like it wasn't. And look, again, I'm a human being. What happened to Charlie Kirk was just disgusting, awful, horrific, just horrifying, and just very tragic. And I'm there's a lot of words that I can describe it. It was awful, but like um, it wasn't like it wasn't like it was the president.
or, or if it was something, like I said, last week was also the anniversary of 9/11.
Right.
Um, that's
Like
totally different. That was a national tragedy. And
and
this
look,
is a tragedy.
not right. Not saying that Charlie Kirk wasn't a big figure in America, but it's like I don't know. Like I think I'm glad that the Jets did it. That's all I'll say. I think if I were to own a team, I would have done it.
I think I would have done it too. I think Roger Goodell's thought process was, okay, listen, we have teams that are in like more conservative areas
Yeah.
that would probably want us to have a moment of silence, but there are teams in more liberal areas that would probably not care.
And
And
you
I'm
also
not
have to,
saying everyone, I'm just
yeah,
saying.
and you also have to understand you have a NFL that's filled with a lot of black players, and a lot of black people in general felt disrespected by Charlie Kirk and his
Oh,
rhetoric
that is true. And
and
listen, we're not going to dive
and
into what he said,
yeah,
but
no,
he
because
did say some things that were.
yeah,
And listen,
it,
again, this is not dismiss what happened. That was awful.
yeah,
And again, it is sad that his two kids who are under the age of 4 are now going to grow up without a dad.
yeah,
So my heart breaks for Charlie Kirk's family. When it comes to the NFL, like I said, it's a private organization. And all the teams are private organizations.
yeah, and
They can make that choice. Unless it's like, a president or a big national tragedy like 9/11 scale or
exactly,
someone who was big in the NFL died, then
yeah,
I think that's when Roger Goodell would say,
yeah,
on Sunday, on all games this week, we will be holding a moment of silence, no exceptions.
yeah,
But
eh,
here, because you can't dismiss this, Charlie Kirk was a polarizing figure.
yeah,
So there
and
were probably I kind of feel like the NFL is trying to wash their hands pretty clean
yeah,
because what we've been hearing over the last couple years, the whole politics should stay out. Well, sports and politics shouldn't mend together. And y'all know my feelings about that. It's the people who say that. If you're the people that anger me are the ones who saying when they say no politics in sports, they mean the politics that they don't agree with.
right, and that, and also like, eh, what are you talking about there? Like, it,
But the people who want sports to be completely apolitical, like I don't care if it's conservative politics or liberal politics, I want no politics in sports. I just want to watch the game. Like those people I can respect
yeah,
because at least they're consistent. But with this, I kind of feel like the NFL was trying to keep their hands pretty clean
yeah,
because I kind of felt like Goodell was, as much as I've been annoyed with Roger Goodell, he was in kind of a tough situation
yeah.
because it's like, okay, if we mandate a moment of silence for all 32 teams, we're pissing off our more liberal fan base, but our more conservative fan base is going to like us. If we don't, we're gonna piss off our more conservative fan base.
I think the NFL kind of sort of staying neutral here was the best
But
way.
I think Goodell at the end of the day did the right thing. I think he said,
Yeah,
okay, if you want to have a moment of silence, go right ahead. If you don't, go right ahead.
yeah, it was the right move. I like the fact that the Jets did it. I'm very happy about that. Very happy to see some sort of humanity. Because ultimately that's what this is about, really. It's
Yeah,
about
and I'm sure,
showing love for humanity.
because Kirk was from Illinois and the Bears didn't have a home game this week, I'm sure next week they probably will have a moment of silence for him.
Yeah.
Even though Illinois is a deep blue state, I'm sure they'll still do it. Because don't forget, the Arizona Cardinals was also one of the teams that had it, a moment of silence. Their stadium, they're having Charlie Kirk's funeral there next week.
Mm,
They're having his funeral there this Sunday.
mm.
So, so yeah, those are my thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, and again, like I don't I understand if some teams why they didn't want to um have moment of silence, and I'm not saying that they should or should not have, um, but what I am saying is I'm happy the Jets did it. So
Yeah, you know what? Like if I was the owner of the Giants and the Giants had a home game, I would probably do it. I
Yeah.
would probably say,
I
okay,
would
Sunday
100%,
we're
I
gonna
would
have
have
a moment.
100% did it. I would have done it for that, and I also would have had a moment of silence for those Colorado. Uh,
Absolutely.
I know there's still we still do it. I think they're not dead or anything, but we still I want to pay respect to that situation as well. And of course,
And
9/11. So
yeah, I would still, yeah, but no, if I was John Mara and the Giants had a home game, I would say, yeah, this Sunday we will have a moment of silence.
yeah, so
But yeah, just wanted to touch on that. Okay, let's go from the gridiron to the diamond for a second. Yanks took 2 out of 3 from Boston.
hmm
Yankees have taken 2 out of 3 from Boston. Aaron Judge has passed Joe DiMaggio.
yeah. Oh,
And all I gotta say is, even though they lost last night, we took 2 out of 3, and that's what's important right now.
yeah. Uh, and look, last night was more. Look, can't give 6 runs, expect to win. Like that doesn't happen. So better pitching, Will Warren. But yeah, no, I was very satisfied. And the not sweeping the Red Sox was fine. Taking 2 or 3, totally will accept. The thing that I'm still bitter about is not taking 2 or 3 from Detroit. That really pissed me off. So because like I said, I said best case scenario, 2 out of 3 Detroit, 2 out of 3 Boston. Yankees are in great shape. Now the Yankees are still in great shape, but it's different now. Now you kind of have to sort of sweep the Twins and kind of sort of have to sweep the Orioles, one of the Orioles series, uh, to um, to really feel comfortable because I want at least the top wild card spot. That's where my head is at. So, um, obviously, anytime you can beat Boston, it's great. Like,
Yes, it feels amazing, bro.
love it. So,
But hey, you know what? We're in the wild card position right now. What's going to happen with the division? I have no idea.
yeah.
Um, Also, we had our first playoff clinch yesterday.
Yeah, well, we had two, but
The Milwaukee Brewers clinched the first spot this weekend.
yeah, the Brewers clinched the spot. They had a nice little moment. If you go, it's all over the socials. But the manager Pat Murphy, they had a nice little moment where they got a message from good old Bob Uecker and and everything. So very emotional. Talks about once again getting to the playoffs, winning the division, all that stuff. Look, he sent out after his death, and I'm sure he wrote it before his death. But nice little moment celebrating Uke and everything. And obviously Uke is meant a lot to people in the Brewers organization. So that was nice to see. They clinched the first spot. The Phillies clinched the spot yesterday by virtue of a Giants loss. So they're in the playoffs. They were trying to win the division yesterday, but lost. So um, their magic number for the NL East is 1, so they're going to win the division. Unless
So
they
they're going to win it this week.
Yeah, they're gonna win it. Either by a Met loss or by them winning. So, they're gonna go to the playoffs as division champions. Um,
So
so
yeah,
two teams clinch.
yeah, and we got about 2 weeks to go here in the Major League Baseball season.
Yeah. Um, Races to watch, obviously, the AL wild card. Still trying to figure out who's going to be at the top. Right now, it's the Yankees. But keep an eye on the Texas Rangers. They lost yesterday, but they had a 6-game winning streak and crept up to the Houston Astros, who are now in danger of falling out of the playoffs. Get this, Bill. The Seattle Mariners winning 9 in a row. and taking the AL West top spot right now.
Wow.
Crazy. Crazy, bro. 9-1 in their last 10. The Mariners have played
Wow.
some incredible baseball over the past week. So,
Good for them.
wow. But keep an eye on the Texas Rangers.
Oh, I would.
Keep an eye. I will
I would
also keep
absolutely
it.
keep it.
I'll also keep an eye on the Cleveland Guardians. They're right there with the Texas Rangers. They've won four in a row.
Oh, absolutely.
Astros in free fall right now. Uh,
Yikes.
on the National League side, obviously the Mets and the Giants trying to battle out, but keep an eye on as well the Arizona Diamondbacks. We thought they were dead, 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 dead. Not so fast. They're right behind the Giants. They're only about half game out of them, and the Mets, they got lucky this weekend.
Yes, they did.
They ended their hideous 8-game losing streak, and then the Giants lost. So they got lucky this weekend.
Yes, they did. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for today.
Hmm.
If you want to know more, go to www.esportssocietynetwork.com. Check out our blogs, our history, and check us our podcast available on all platforms. Don't forget to check out our show here on YouTube and also Sunday Sideline Report and
Yep.
Thursday Night Gridiron. And special thanks again to the Dugout of Millwood for their sponsorship.
Yep. We appreciate the dugout Millwood. Always.
And for here, I'm Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy. For Danny Boy Reginald, stay safe and take care.